Welcome to Game Night in the Region on the Region Sports Network. Streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, regionsports.com, and the IHSAA Champions Network. We come to you tonight from Chesterton High School, as the Region Sports Network features Indiana High School girls basketball as the Crown Point Bulldogs visit their conference mate, the Chesterton Trojans. I'm Andrew Mild. I'll have the play-by-play for tonight's broadcast, and joining me with the color analysis is Ben Kolazinski. Good evening, Ben.
Andrew, thanks for having me again tonight. I can't wait for this battle for two of the best coaches in the state of Indiana. This is going to be exciting.
You're talking about Coach Chris Seibert of the Crown Point Bulldogs, and of course, Coach Candy Wilson of the Chesterton Trojans. Two coaches, they're very familiar with one another. Seibert was at Portage and now here at Crown Point. And of course, Candy Wilson had a long tenure at Valpo, now here with the Chesterton Trojans. So, Ben, in your opinion, between these two teams, what's going to give tonight, and who's going to be able to have the advantage going late in the game?
You know what's really interesting right now? This is a tale of two teams that are on similar trajectories. Their records are about the same, but what's interesting is they're both led by underclassmen. When it comes to Chesterton, you've got Kennedy Bradley, and she is a junior point guard. But you also have, for the Crown Point side of things, you've got Ava Ritchie, Ivy Henderson, and Ava Punek. Those three lead them in scoring. So you've got some underclassmen, some youth that are taking care of business and leading both of these teams.
Yeah, Ava Ritchie, talk about a story for the Crown Point Bulldogs. She's a freshman, averaging over 14 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. She averaging over more than 3 steals, almost 4, and she doesn't really turn the ball over, shoots the ball really well, and she has a lot to build upon going into the future. She comes from a family of college basketball players. She has 2 double-doubles. We can talk about the stats all we want, but simply, Ben, she has that killer instinct and could be the future of Crown Point basketball.
Well, yeah, absolutely is going to be the future. As a freshman, she's got 3 more seasons after this one, and you know, it seems like Crown Point is starting to round into shape. Coach Chris Seibert has them kind of moving in the right direction, which is exactly what you want for the Crown Point Bulldogs.
This is the 3rd time you and me have worked together calling a Chesterton girls basketball game, and the first time we talked about it was down to the free throws and the turnovers.
Right.
They've solved that free throw problem. They've been knocking down their free throws lately. Turnovers, still very much a problem. Their last game was against Hammond Central, which was here in this gym, which Chesterton, their defense was phenomenal. The 2-3 zone was working wonders for Coach Candy Wilson, as it had for 26 years. But the 26 turnovers really allowed Hammond Central to get back in it. And because of a huge third quarter for them, they're able to cruise to get the win. And for Chesterton, they're trying to snap a 3-game home losing streak.
Yeah, this is their final home game of the year. Again, next week is against Andringen, so hopefully they can send this ferocious home crowd home happy, on this Thursday night. But what's strange is you're seeing improvement week in and week out with this Chesterton team. Candy Wilson is improving this squad day in and day out. The only concern is when you have 26 turnovers like they did last week against Hammond Central, that's 26 shots that you didn't get to take. That's 26 opportunities in a close game that you didn't capitalize on.
And we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. It was their 4th game within the same week, so maybe fatigue played a little bit. And I know you mentioned Kennedy Bradley. She is a stud. But I do want to mention Isabel Connors. We've seen her play twice, and she's as tough as a $2 steak. She's down there banging with bodies, pulling down rebounds, and because of her, she really ignites the teams at times.
High-energy player, a lot of hustle. That's exactly what you want as a coach. You want someone to bring the intensity and bring that hustle to your squad, because that is contagious for the Chesterton Trojans.
The Thursday night forecast is brought to you by our friends at Economy Electric Heating and Cooling. Tonight's forecast, it is 16 degrees, feels like 9. That's the game night forecast brought to you by our Economy Electric Heating and Cooling. Visit them on the web at forajobdoneright.com.
A little bit warmer today than it has been the last couple days, right, Andrew?
Well, I'll tell you what, the first time in a while I walked out to my car and I didn't feel my beard instantly freezing. So, it's getting bad at that time of year when you look at your watch and you say, 16 degrees, I will take that, considering we were seeing negatives and zeros, and single digits is never a good thing. But we're packed in tightly here as the crowd is starting to file into the stands. Crown Point always travels well, and of course, Chesterton always has a good turnout here at home. it is time to step aside as we will have the national anthem and then starting lineups for the respective sides. You're watching the Region Sports Network, the only game in town. One of the best bands you're going to find here in the region, the Chesterton Pet Band. I got to give them credit. They are one of the best bands. Not only that, but also one of the best fan bases.
Yes, they are. They bring the intensity. We will see the instruments being used as the diversions, cymbals flying through the air. They really cheer hard and they cheer loud. Really impressed by the Trojan Pet Band.
Going through the starting lineups of the Crown Point Bulldogs, we have Ava Punick, a 5'11 sophomore. Ava Ritchie, a freshman that we were talking about. Gia Gagianis, a 5'7 senior. Gabby Eberhardt, a 5'4 senior. And, of course, the standout 6'3 center sophomore, Ivy Henderson. You mentioned her, Ben. What makes her so special and why she's had a great sophomore season?
You know, she is a tall presence there in the center of the floor. She averages 12 points per game and almost 6 rebounds per game. She's really a force down low.
She had a double-double against Mount Vernon earlier this year, had 13 points and 8 rebounds. Not only that, she's a really good defender. 1 steal a game and 1.5 blocks per game. So down low, she's a presence. And it's now time for Chesterton. They go through their starting lineup. Allison Van Cly, a 5'9 junior. Novea Brandon, a 5'8 sophomore for these Trojans. Liv Roach, Liv Roach has been stealing the ball a lot lately. 9 steals in her last 4 games, so you got to be mindful of her if you're Crown Point. Isabel Connors. She had a good game against Hammond Central, doing a little bit of everything. And, of course, Kennedy Bradley, who comes in with 869 total points in her career. She most likely will become the next Chesterton Trojan to score 1,000 points in her career. Last time that happened, Claire Holba in 2011. So it's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a bit of time. It's been almost 15 years. And Kennedy Bradley loves to shoot, also loves to facilitate the ball. She can dish it as well as take that shot. She's an excellent ball player to have here for the Trojans.
Crown Point comes in at 11-10 this year. They're 3-3 in conference play. The most recent game was against Maryville, where they lost by 11. But we saw Maryville play. They are a tough bunch. And for Chesterton, they are 12-8 and also level at 3-3 in conference play in the first year under Candy Wilson, a 1990 graduate of this prestigious school in Northwest Indiana. Ivy Anderson will be jumping with Isabel Connors, and we are off. And of course, it's won by Henderson, who's listed at 6'3", and she plays volleyball, so she also has that leaping ability.
Leap ability, long arms, and a tall frame.
Yeah, Giannis gets a pass, and she can't make the shot. And there's Henderson pulling down the offensive rebound, going up strong for the first 2 points of tonight's game.
Already showing her strength on the block.
Henderson averaging just under 6 rebounds per game this year, and she's shooting 66% from the field. Chesterton trying to set it up for Roach in the corner. She didn't want it. Via Brandon trying to pull it back out. A double team coming from Crown Point, and they pass it out to Roach on the wing. They're trying to get it to Kennedy Bradley. Into the corner, Van Cly, double teamed again. Crown Point with some stout defense to start off. Here's a shot from Roach. It looked like he might have gotten blocked by Henderson. Connor with the rebound. She gets hit. She's going to the line.
Great collect off the deflected shot. She grabs the rebound, goes up strong with the harm, the opportunity to take the leap.
Looks like Henderson got her first block of the game, but as we mentioned, Isabel Connors, she has a unique ability of being able to be at the right place at the right time when it comes to offensive rebounds. She had a plenty against Hammond Central. That was the most recent game for Chesterton to conclude 4 games in a week. And they had themselves a pretty good first half, but then they slowed down in the second half as the Wolves have made adjustments. Here's a 3-ball from the corner. Too long, and Van Cly is there to get the board. Ball on the ground. Crown Point recovers. Nice pass. Shot up, and it gets off the rim. Crown Point getting into Eberhardt. Eberhardt loses it. Body's hitting the ground. And, of course, it's Isabel Connors down there with them.
Everywhere that ball is, she is getting after it. There's a lot of intensity here early in this ball game.
6:41 to go in the opening quarter. Chesterton, after a old-fashioned three-point play from Connors, have taken the lead. Crown Point looks like they're running a 2-3 zone here, Ben.
Yeah, it's a 2-3, but they've been trapping on the corners. Speak of the devil right there.
Connors with a skip pass to Bradley, and was that a shot or a pass? It looked like it was a pass that slipped out of her hands.
Yeah, it was a pass, just a little too much mustard on that one.
I think she knew it when she released it that it was a mistake, that it was going to fly into the front row behind the basket. So a turnover.
I like the idea, though. She was looking at the block to try to beat that, get behind that zone.
Eberhardt hitting the paint and lost the ball as she tried to feed it to Punick down low. A lot of turnovers early in this game. Connors against Henderson. Here comes the help, and their foul is going to be called on Crown Point.
Yeah, Isabel Connors just keeps being where you need to be, absorbing this punishment and hitting the ground. She's that intense player that Chesterton really is relying upon here early in this game.
Foul goes on to Ava Punick, a sophomore for this team. Here's a 3 from Bradley, and it's pure. Kennedy Bradley went 0 for 6 to start that game against Central, knocked a late 3 down to finish the day 1 for 7, and before the game, Ben, she was working on her shot with her dad, and it looks like it's paying off.
Anytime you can do a shake and a step back and drain your first shot, that'll build your confidence for the rest of this game.
As Ricky Bobby once said, shake and bake.
Shake and bake.
And it leads to 3 points for Chesterton. So they've scored off an old-fashioned three-point play and the traditional three-point play. One by Connors, one by Bradley, the two stars of this team. Ritchie, been quiet to start the game. Long pass to Punic. Punic attacking. She has a lane. She loses it. Here's Henderson, and she got smacked. Connors had no choice.
Connors had no choice. It was a clear layup opportunity, but Connors is going to have to be careful. She can't rack up fouls early. Chesterton's going to need her on the block against this very vaunted front line in Ivy Henderson.
This is the first free throw. Henderson shoots 47% from the line. She soars through the air, and she is clearly the tallest one out there, and it's going to be a problem for Chesterton.
Nice confident stroke from the line there. When you're that strong and big a force down low, if you can hit your free throws, it's just an extra gear to your repertoire.
I mean, you're a Purdue fan. It's kind of like having Zach Edey down there.
Like having Zach Edey there.
Great passing, but Punic with the block. She knocks it away. No, Brandon recovers it. Liv Roach has nowhere to go. There's a pass. Van Cly up and under, and she puts it down.
Crown Point slid into a 2-3 zone that possession. The extra pass got the wide open layup.
Some good movement there by Chesterton to break that 2-3 zone and lead to an easy layup. They lead by 5. Punic shot is up, no good. Henderson rebound, can't put it in. Chesterton fans wanted ever so desperately an over-the-back foul. It's going to be a tough day for the referees to call that one when Henderson is just towering over the opposing players. Out of bounds, Crown Point ball.
Chris Seibert took one off the chest there with the deflected pass, but I'm sure he's all right.
Seibert in his 10th year with Crown Point, hired back in 2014 from Portage. Was there for 6 years, spent 1 year at Morton, and of course led Crown Point to a state championship back in 2021.
I was talking with Chris Seibert before the game, and he said it's a bit of a youth movement for his team.
Yes.
And it's obvious that there's a bright future and a vaunted past for Crown Point. So it'll be interesting to see how these young players develop and continue this legacy of dominance for Crown Point. 1
freshman, 2 sophomores, and 2 seniors in your starting lineup. And Ava Ritchie looks to be the future of this Crown Point program as she's the one handling the ball. She lost it, and it went over the line, so it's going to be over and back on CP.
A bit of an announcer's curse there, Andrew, but, sometimes that happens.
This is our 3rd time doing a Chesterton girls basketball game, and it's always the first quarter that's a little slowed down where it seems like both teams are getting a feel for each other.
Right.
So once we get into those middle quarters, it becomes oftentimes a track race.
It does. One thing for sure, though, the crowd is always...
Bradley for 3, but that's not going to count because an offensive foul. Is it on Connors? It is, so that's her second.
That's her second foul. Wow.
Her second foul. 1 defensively, 1 on an illegal screen, and Bradley, the shot went down. So the stroke is there for Kennedy Bradley here tonight. The shots that she was missing against Hammond Central a week ago, she was wide open, and you thought, hey, that's a 3-point layup. But she was missing badly in that game.
Yeah,
something was off.
She was a little bit off, and that's you don't like seeing that from one of your better players on the squad.
A bad pass there by Menchaca. She's trying to get it down there to Henderson, but there was 3 Trojans awaiting that pass. Roach going baseline, swings it back out. They're setting up Bradley from the wing. No good. Ball on the ground, gets kicked away. Punic's on the ground, but it's recovered by Novia Brandon. Talking about taking the corner 3 is Geyser, who just came into the game for Connors. Henderson with the contest, shot no good. And another offensive rebound. It could give Chesterton their 3rd look. Here's a 3 from straight away. No, and she hits the ground hard. It looks like it's Novia Brandon who got hit. Ritchie bringing the ball up. She's going with the left hand.
It did look like she got fouled on that 3, but there was no call.
3 is missed. Ball out, and it belongs to Crown Point. And that's exactly what Zach Edey did for Purdue. Was right in there and made it very tough for the other team to get defensive rebounds. Ball goes out of bounds, and now Seibert gets a play from down low.
Yeah, right, absolutely. With the opportunity to get the ball up to your 6'4" Ivy Henderson center, who is head and shoulders above the other players here, literally. She is a towering presence here.
You can teach ball movement. You can teach shooting. You can't teach height. Bad pass, ball being kicked, and
ooh.
For me, it looked like it was off the foot of Liv Roach. But the referee's going to award it to Chesterton instead.
We had a front row view to that one, and they might have missed one there, but the official did not see the play right in front of him. He asked for the assistance on the backside official, and that's the call they made.
Another good start defensively for Chesterton. Good ball movement. Here comes a three from Geyser. Good!
Oh. Huge start by Chesterton in this game. They're up by 8 with 3 minutes to go in the first quarter.
Crown Point's gone a long time without scoring. They scored in their opening possession, but since then, it's been a bit of a drought for CP, and we're going to see another foul call on Chesterton. That's their third, so they have one more to give in this opening quarter as they're up by 8. The ball movement has been spot on for Chesterton. That one extra pass to get Geyser in the corner, and she put it down, and that's exactly what Candy Wilson was looking for.
That's what you have to do when you're playing against this high-pressure zone. You have to make that extra pass, and if you make it right and crisp, you'll get that open look.
Seibert making another substitution as Jillian Brown has come in. Crown Point misses another shot. Henderson with the rebound, and she gets hit before the shot. But keep in mind, that's the fourth foul on Chesterton. So maybe that's Coach Seibert's plan for Henderson to get the Chesterton starters in foul trouble.
It's working so far. Henderson with a strong board there, and if it was NBA continuation rules, that would have been an and one.
I love the NBA rules. Here is a steal after a bad pass from Brown. Going down the floor, and looks like Brown with the block.
Good defense.
Brandon gets the rebound and floats it in.
Cleaned up by Novea Brandon. They're, a good defensive stop, but Brandon right where she needed to be to follow that play and get the layup.
This is a 13-0 run for Chesterton. 3 left short. Long rebound, and it's going to go out of bounds as Bradley was getting over there to knock it away from Jillian Brown, who missed the 3. Crown Point desperately needs something here.
We're starting to see little body language issues here with Crown Point. They're starting to visibly be frustrated with how things are operating right now.
Well, we saw this with Hammond Central. They had a very frustrating first half against Chesterton. Henderson from the free throw line, and Henderson's doing everything for her team.
What a touch. She's not just a bruiser down low. She just hit a 17-foot turnaround jumper. That's an incredible weapon for Crown Point.
Basically, you have to pick your poison with her. Do you want her to shoot the mid-range or shoot it from down low? Brandon from downtown. No. Chesterton proving tough on the offensive glass. They pulled down a lot of offensive rebounds in this first quarter. Bradley with a head fake. Kick it out. Roach with her luck. And Roach sent it way too long.
Ivy Henderson affected that play on the defensive end. She stepped up, caused the pass to be dished out, and it ended up being no shot.
Crown Point is in disarray. Here comes a steal, and here comes an easy layup for Allison Van Cly, and Chesterton has a 10-point lead. Seibert is going to take a timeout. We'll be right back here on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
When life keeps you busy and you can't get to the store, shop online with Strachan Van Til To Go. Our to-go service is easy to use. Register using your rewards account information, fill your virtual cart, and choose delivery or pickup. Once your order is in, our own Strachan Van Til team preps your order with care. With our to-go service, you can earn reward points and save time and money with our online coupons and weekly ad prices. Life made simple, shopping made easy. For more information or to sign up, visit shop.strachanvantil.com.
Hi, I'm Crowd Company's Lantern Man. For years, I've helped your family and friends save on their car insurance. And now I've returned to rescue you from high prices. Whether you have a perfect driving record.
We're back here on the Region Sports Network as Allison Van Cly stole the basketball, ran down the floor, and got 2 points, and those are some of the best hands in the business.
Join the Bricklayers Local 4 and start building your career today. Visit baclocal4.org to find out more.
And there is Allison Van Cly again coming out of nowhere to deflect that pass to Henderson down low, and Coach Seibert pretty adamant right now. He's not particularly happy by how Crown Point has been so lackadaisical with the basketball.
It seems like the defensive intensity is there, but minor mistakes here on offense leading to turnovers. That is some of the pitfalls of being so young in areas of importance on the offensive end.
Roach on the wing, got it to Bradley. Bradley with a high mid-range jumper, and it's off to the right. Nice rebound by Menchaca. Crown Point's turning the ball over an awful lot in this first quarter due to the Chesterton defense. And there's another steal, as that was from Liv Roach, and a foul on Ritchie.
Yeah, I'm not so sure that was a foul on Ritchie. It looked pretty clean to me, but the bottom line is Chesterton's defense is trapping on the wings and bringing pressure up floor. It's really causing this young Crown Point team a lot of difficulties here in the first quarter.
I mean, we saw the Chesterton defense give Hammond Central a pretty older team and with some star players have fits against this defense. So Candy Wilson bringing her defense over to Chesterton from Valpo. Floater from the lane, and a nice friendly roll. Kennedy Bradley gets a deuce.
Good touch by Bradley, taking with the right hand across the lane for the little floater.
Let's see if Crown Point can figure something out on offense. They have been absolutely puzzled. Same story, a steal from Chesterton. Bradley tosses it up after Ritchie tried to poke the ball away, and we're going to have a foul on Kennedy Bradley with 30.7 seconds to go in the first quarter, but that's a fifth foul, so Crown Point's going to get to shoot 2 free throws down here.
Yeah, it seems like at least these fouls racking up is leading to some opportunities for Crown Point to get on the board. A little bit slow on the offensive end. Crown Point needs to take advantage of the freebies here to try to chip into this lead leading into the second quarter.
This is Sydney Hale at the line, a 5'9 freshman who shoots 46% from the line. First one is good.
46%, you wouldn't have known it from that one. That was a nice confident stroke. She just drilled it.
Good rotation on that.
Absolutely.
Nothing but net going down. You'll gladly take that. Crown Point with a couple of late substitutions. As Gagianis is coming back in for Crown Point. And Addison Seibert, number 24, is out there. 2 for 2. Sydney Hale with a lot of confidence in her trip to the line there. Making it a 10-point game once again. Here comes Bradley. It's her and Henderson. Nice bounce pass. Roach took her eye off the ball and went through the wickets and out of bounds.
Yeah, Crown Point got away with one there. She was wide open underneath the hole. Would have been an easy layup, but the ball slipped out of her hands. Let's see if Crown Point can knock this lead under double digits to end this quarter.
Yeah, Bradley went the full 9 yards and a fumble by her teammate on the pass, trying to set her up for an easy 2 points. One of those plays they might joke at one another in the film room.
Pass.
And Henderson went up high to bring in that pass. Went up, she got hit, and Henderson back to the line. And Crown Point, they're going to try and cut into this deficit by shooting the free throws.
What an athlete this Ivy Henderson is. She skied for that ball and went up with 2 hands, grabbed it strong, got the harm.
Well, we talked about it before the game that you don't really see a whole lot of dual sport athletes in high school anymore. But for Henderson, with her volleyball ability, it's really translating here into basketball.
Yeah.
She goes 1 for 2. Offensive rebound. Seibert tried to force a pass, and it worked out. Punic tosses it up, and it goes down. Crown Point with a huge swing to close out this first quarter. Ball goes out and belongs to Crown Point, so they might get one more shot with 1.9 seconds.
A 3-point possession to cut it to 7 with 1.9 seconds left. This could be a huge swing with momentum leading into the second quarter.
Sending in a substitution, Gabby Eberhardt. Giannis is going to inbound it here. Deep pass, no one there but Liv Roach from Chesterton, and Van Clyde was going to pass, not shoot. Crown Point goes on a run to end the first quarter as they trail by 7 here on the road against the Chesterton Trojans. You're watching the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Hi, I'm Crowd Company's Lantern Man. For years, I've helped your family and friends save on their car insurance. And now I've returned to rescue you from high prices. Whether you have a perfect driving record or a not-so-perfect record. Follow me to the Crowd Agency for immediate and affordable coverage. I'm your insurance superhero. Crowd Company's insurance professionals. Highland, Merrillville, and Michigan City.
We are back here for the second quarter. Andrew Mild with Ben Kolazinski. And the first half of that first quarter, it was a typical Chesterton brute fest on defense, but it started to open up there to close out the first quarter. And for Crown Point, they got to the free throw line, and Ivy Henderson making her presence felt, even though Ava Ritchie's having herself a quiet start.
You know, this is definitely a circumstance where Ivy Henderson is doing everything she can to shoulder the burden of Crown Point while Ritchie is kind of struggling, but it's still early. It's only been one quarter. But how about the performance of Kennedy Bradley? She's already hit a couple shots. She's moving the ball around, and she's finding the open individuals here on the offensive side for Chesterton. This is really exciting. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here in the second quarter.
Will be interesting to see if we see Isabel Connors come back in. She picked up 2 quick fouls and been on the bench for quite some time. Long pass. Here's a 3, and it pays off. Ava Ritchie says, quiet start. I'm going to open up the second quarter pretty loud.
She heard us talking about her, and she just drills the 3 from the right wing.
What a pass to get it over there. That was from the right wing.
Left wing. Sorry, my apologies.
Here comes the attack from Bradley. Bradley floats in. Oh, my goodness. A giant slayer. Kennedy Bradley.
She took it in to Ivy Henderson. She was not afraid. Teardrop over the top.
And a travel. Eberhardt could not stop. And she took too many steps, and an unforced turnover for Crown Point.
So the lead, which was once 12 points, is down to 6. It's going to be very interesting to see how this game progresses. It seems like Chris Seibert's got his team kind of moving in the right direction. Can they slow this offense for Chesterton down?
Chesterton playing their last home game of the year. They have one more game against Indrain, as Ben mentioned, and then sectionals is coming up. Pass into the lane. Shot is blocked ever so effortlessly by Henderson, but a foul is going to be called on Ava Ritchie. And it will be a shooting foul.
You know what I liked about Ivy Henderson in that block there? She made no doubt about it. She's not going to allow that and one opportunity.
Well, I was impressed that she didn't beat her chest after that block. But when you're 6'3" and you've been racking up blocks all year, they become almost effortlessly for her.
Blocks and spikes.
Yes.
We know how she likes to operate. You can tell with the height and the leaping ability that she's a force.
Spikes, kills, no matter what. She's doing a lot for Crown Point High School. And the ball gets away. Who is it going to be out on? It's going to belong to Crown Point. They're going to say it's off of Haley Geyser.
Yeah, those 50-50 balls, I like the hustle and intensity that Geyser was taking going after that ball, but it just ricocheted off her hand and ended up going to Crown Point.
What's interesting to see here is Lindsay McGuffey is in for Chesterton. You got to be mindful of her. She's one of the better three-point shooters you're going to see in the region, and she's only a freshman. Punak went into the lane, got over by the block, and they're going to call a travel on her. Chesterton's defense is doing wonders here in the first half, and Crown Point still trying to figure their way out around it.
I didn't see the Chesterton defender who got a hand on the ball, but it was almost a jump ball that could have been called either way. It would have gone to Chesterton. Very quick hands by the Trojans.
What's interesting about this game was looking at the two coaches. And here's McGuffey for a 3, and it did not go down. It looked good from the hand, but just slightly a misfire.
Good look from the corner there.
Yeah, Giannis, nice fake. She's going to toss up a forced jumper. Offensive rebound. Punic puts it up, left it short. And recovery there from Chesterton. Ball going around. Giannis picks it up, and her shot rolls off the rim. It's off the leg, but here comes Kennedy Bradley to pick it up. Bradley pushing it down the floor, but Crown Point has the numbers.
She wisely pulls it back, lets her cohorts get down the floor so she can set up the offense.
Crown Point with a trap in the corner. Bradley down low. Geyser trying to find somewhere to go. Here comes the Crown Point double team again. Ritchie got her hand on the ball, but Chesterton was able to regain it. Corner 3, Novia Brandon, not close.
Yeah, a little bit off on the left side there. You know, when you miss a little bit to the baseline side when you're shooting from the corner, things like that happen.
We'll say it was the wind.
We'll take the wind. It's been breezy here in Northwest Indiana, that's for sure.
It's found its way into the gym. But you know what also has found its way into the gym? Some Valpo Vikings. Henderson, post, shows up, and she's hit. Once again, she's going to the line for the third time.
Yeah, we saw some green and white letter jackets, maybe getting some advanced scouting here in Chesterton, Indiana.
Well, Coach Candy Wilson was with Valpo for quite some time, led them to a couple DAC titles and sectional championships. But also on top of that, Chesterton shares the same sectional with Valpo. So who knows, by Sunday it might be Valpo versus Chesterton Part 2.
Right, exactly. A natural rivalry both in the DAC and in the sectionals and with a former coach. That's a lot of drama right there for Northwest Indiana.
Call that the Porter County Brawl. Valpo dominated Chesterton, though, in this gym, 52-19, or correction, 63-35. 20-14, Chesterton leading. Crown Point led early after Henderson got the and one play, but it's been quiet since for Crown Point.
Oh.
And they're going to call a foul, and it's on Connors. She just came back into the game.
Oh, my goodness.
And she's going to get her third foul.
Third foul with 5:19 left in the second period. She's going to be sitting for a while here, and Chesterton desperately needs her energy out there on the floor.
But it's that mentality of going for any loose ball, and for her, she gambled and she lost because she ran right into the Crown Point player trying to pick up the ball, and she's going right back to the bench. So she'll at least have fresh legs for the second half. Feed it down low to Henderson. There's a triple team. Henderson shot is off, and the ball was tipped out, and McGuffey was there to make sure Crown Point did not get a second look.
Yeah, the 2-3 zone collapsed on Henderson there at the block.
Long pass. Bradley was able to recover as Henderson had to come all the way out to the three-point line. Now she's camping back down low. Bradley, pass over. Van Clyde going to her right, gliding over. Bradley going to try her luck.
Oh.
And the luck pays off.
Kennedy Bradley nails another three from the right, top right of the key. Beautiful stroke, and extends the lead to 9.
Richie at the free throw line. Here is a wing three, and Crown Point responds. Giannis.
Anything you can do, I can do better from both of these teams.
Looking like the three-point contest here in the Chesterton gym. Back and forth we go, 23-17 game. Henderson knocks it away. It's a wrestle for the basketball. Jump ball belongs to Chesterton. I do appreciate the old-fashioned possession era, though, Ben.
Yeah.
A little easier for us.
Yes, nice and bright yellow, and we can see it very clearly, about, 6-8 feet in front of us, and we're not going to miss it from here.
Chesterton will inbound it from down low with 4:10 to go in the first half, and Chesterton was not on the same page there as Bradley was going to the wing, and they sent it over her head.
No harm, no foul. She tracked the ball down, got the ball moving right back into the offense.
Bradley over by the volleyball line. Crown Point still running this zone. Chesterton in no sort of rush right here. Van Clyde gets to the elbow. Bradley receives a pass. Bradley's knocked down a couple of threes in this first half. Her shot looking much smoother than it did against Hammond Central. And Crown Point forces the ball onto the hardwood. Jump ball, and that will be Crown Point's.
Really great defense by Crown Point on that possession. Slowed the offense for Chesterton down by pushing that 2-3 zone north towards half court and causing some extra passes that really didn't accomplish much.
It means something a little bit when you're in the DAC. There's some pride when you're in this conference. And to finish above 500 is something that they're going to be talking about when it comes into these summer months. That pass, and Henderson is going to be the one responsible for the ball going out of bounds. But Coach Seibert does not like the call. He thought it was off Liv Roach.
Yeah, it might have been off Liv Roach, but the bottom line is that pass was a little bit low. It was more at head level. If they can extend that up and get it up high, then Ivy Henderson can control it and be able to make the layup underneath.
Crown Point jumping the pass. Menchaca got over there, knocked it away, and another bad pass from Crown Point. They've had a fair share amount here in this first half, but watching this game, Ben, I think it's safe to say by next year you might see these two teams battling it out for a DAC title. I know this is LC's conference for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
They went to state last year, finished runner-up against a team that's ranked in the nation, but just how young this team is and that they're building this chemistry and camaraderie, who knows? When these two teams meet up next year, it might mean a little bit more.
It very well could. There's obviously a ton of talent on both of these squads, and they're both excellently coached.
Good hands. Bradley down the floor, and she's going to go to the line. Foul on Menchaca.
Strong take by Bradley. Got the harm across her left arm with the opportunity with 2:42 to extend this lead. And we'll see, because it seems like Chesterton has had an opportunity to, extend certain games from the foul line, but they've struggled.
Crown Point, their next game will be against Hanover Central on the road. So, getting really close to wrapping up the regular season. And then don't forget, on the IHSAA Champions Network will be Selection Sunday. So we will find out who is playing who in road to Indianapolis.
Always my favorite time of year. State tournament time in the state of Indiana.
Do you have any favorites you think that could run away with the state title up here in the region?
I mean, in fairness, why not Lake Central? Why not some of these teams that are just dominant here in Northwest Indiana? But there's always dark horses that can come too. You never know. And I was always a fan of the one class system. It's kind of gone by the way of the dinosaur anymore, since there's multiple classes. But I'm also older than most people who are the average high school basketball fan nowadays. So, no, it's going to be very interesting. It's very exciting, and I can't wait.
4 divisions to be exact here in the IHSAA girls basketball. Crown Point with a steal. They're pushing it down the floor, but Kennedy Bradley got her hand on the ball, and it will roll into the cheerleaders.
Good job by Bradley to swipe that ball away and end a fast break opportunity.
24-17, Chesterton holding the advantage they have since the beginning of this contest. They've looked mightily good defensively. Crown Point was able to land some blows to close out the first quarter and to start off the second quarter. But once again, they're struggling, and Ava Ritchie, she traveled.
I had taken my eye off the ball on that situation. I did not see what happened. She did not appreciate the call, but didn't put up too much of an argument after the fact.
She comes from a competitive family. Her dad and her 2 uncles all played college basketball. Her dad was a standout at LC, and her uncle was a standout at Lowell, where he led the region in scoring.
That's a really difficult thing to do. You must be a pretty dynamic player.
Chesterton trying to build on their lead right here. But they've had a hard time against Crown Point's defense that has gotten ferocious, and a foul called on Sydney Hale. Hale did foul out in the last game. That was against Maryville, where they lost by 11. But, of course, Maryville, one of the tougher teams in the DAC, and has 3 of Maryville's players combined for 51 of the 54. The 3-headed monster they have over there in Jenkins, McSpadden, and Wells. Bradley, can she do it again? Yes, she can!
She is on fire here in the first half.
Do you believe in Kennedy Bradley? I know Coach Candy Wilson does. Lethal scorer. You cannot leave her open on the perimeter, and Liv Roach going to the top shelf to pull down that steal. Bradley down the lane. She's hit on the arm.
She has taken this game over. If she's not bombing it away from 3, she's taking it to the hole. If she's not shooting it, she's dishing it out. Wonderful performance in this first half by Kennedy Bradley.
Bradley only had 12 points in that entire game against Hammond Central. And for her and how competitive she is, that she might have tossed and turned knowing that if she would have performed up to par, there's a good chance that Chesterton might have won that game.
Right. Because
Chesterton could not respond to the run that Hammond Central went on in that third quarter.
It seems like she's extra motivated today. Maybe that's still in the back of her mind from last game.
As they talk about the great ones, it's not about how they perform every night. It's how they bounce back after a bad one. And Bradley on defense as she helps Allison Van Clyde get a steal. And Van Clyde's going to hit the ground. It's another foul on Sydney Hale.
That was a lot of contact there, and we're going to be shooting free throws.
Double bonus. Man, oh man. Candy Wilson and her team are making Crown Point awfully frustrated. You talked about it. Big thing at this level, body language.
It is body language. Right now it seems like Crown Point is a little bit frustrated, but, there's a lot of basketball left to be played.
First free throw hit everything but the bottom of the basket as it rolls off for Van Clyde. At the line this year, she is shooting a 41% clip. Her team is up by 11 with 74 seconds to go. And the shot goes in, but it's a lane violation. It will not count.
I guess her foot inched a little bit too far over the free throw line. That is unfortunate because that would have extended this lead.
Do you also want to point out for Sydney Hale, that was her third foul. As again, she fouled out in the last game. She's already in foul trouble, and she has hit the bench. Risky pass, pulled down. Here's a three ball from the wing and off the iron and off Chesterton. Liv Roach knocking it away. That was a good look, just simply did not go down. One of the better looks Crown Point has had in this second quarter. Jillian Brown could not convert on the look.
But it wasn't rushed. She knew that she had an opportunity. She put a good shot together, just a little too strong.
Punick received the inbound pass, and then she should have just let it go out of bounds. She saved it, and it went right into the lap of Van Clyde. So Chesterton could really put the exclamation point on this first half, but they lose it. Ooh. And then Brown's going to hit the ground as Punick ran into her, and Punick's going to get the foul instead.
Yeah, a little bit of hip-to-hip action, arm extended on that contact. It appears to be a little too aggressive there on the defensive end for Punick.
Hart coming in, Punick going out. That was her second foul. And that was an offensive foul, so it is not going to lead to free throws for Chesterton. That's only on loose ball or defensive fouls.
So we're not calling that a loose ball situation.
I think what their call was, it was
Chesterton ball at that point.
Well, it was Jillian Brown already had secured the ball, and then Punick ran into her. So an offensive foul called from behind the play.
Okay.
So hard for us to see, but Chesterton still has possession, and another turnover on Crown Point. Good ball movement. Elizabeth St. Marie down low, and the arm comes down. And that's going to send Marie to the line.
Really nice low post or high post to low post dish there to get a good look under the basket and lead to the free throws.
That's on the freshman Seibert. Probably guess who her dad is.
We can put two and two together.
Back iron. 35.5 seconds to go. Coach Seibert continues to go deep into his bench as Ritchie comes back in, one of the starters. Sophie Hart going to go back to the bench. St. Marie this year just 50% from the line. Small margin for her. Second one is no good, and a
good board.
Offensive board for Chesterton.
Liv Roach hitting the offensive glass.
Roach has been everywhere. She's had herself a quiet first half, but she has been very good. I wonder if Chesterton's just going to hold on to this final shot as we're under 30 seconds, under 20 seconds now, 17. Kennedy Bradley at half court, dribbling it out, going to her left, picks up a dribble, spins, bad pass, Henderson pokes it away. Deep pass down low. Yeah, Giannis going up with the right hand. No good. Toss it back up at the buzzer. No, Henderson. No, Henderson swiped away. And Chesterton was able to make sure Crown Point did not get a buzzer or beater as Giannis is walking off the floor, exhausted, and cannot believe Crown Point could not hit that buzzer beater. The first half has come to a close. We'll have a interview with the IHSAA Commissioner and Paul Niedick. And then we'll send it back to me and Ben Kolazinski to talk about this first half of play and get you set up for the second half. You're watching the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
It's time for the Commissioner's Corner, an exclusive weekly conversation about Indiana high school sports with the Commissioner of the IHSAA, Paul Niedick. Now for an up-to-the-minute report about what's happening in the constantly changing world of high school sports. Here's Coach Bob Lovell with Commissioner Paul Niedick.
Welcome back, everyone. This is our weekly conversation with the Commissioner of the IHSAA, Paul Niedick, and talking about all things IHSAA related. Historic weekend last week, Commissioner. First girls wrestling state finals, and it was a massive success.
It was, Coach. We had in excess of 200 schools participate in the tournament, and around 1,200 girls, and we brought 16 girls in each weight class to the fairgrounds at the Coliseum this past weekend and our last Friday. And, it was an incredible day of competition. And, one thing that we've learned is a lot of the girls that wrestle weren't participating in sports in other fashions in their building than traditional sports that we've offered over the years. So it's opened up an opportunity to participate to a whole new group of girls. And again, it was that trophy that we handed out was the same as the boys get, and the medals was the same as the boys receive, and it was just it was a phenomenal weekend. And our Assistant Commissioner Robert Falcons headed this effort up and did a phenomenal job here for the office.
We sometimes forget as adults that the reason we do what we do, why you do at the IHSAA what you do, and those of us in the sports world do what we do, it's about helping young men and women create lifetime memories and help them understand the bigger values of life you can learn through sports. And you've just created a great number of lifetime memories for these young ladies and their families with a tremendous tournament that you just concluded.
Yeah, we're very fortunate and very pleased to be able to do that. And we're gonna, as they say, we're gonna play that back with another new sport this spring, Coach. And this spring will be the first ever boys volleyball state championship. And we got some other things on the horizon. We got girls lacrosse that's growing, and with the efforts of the Colts and the Ursay family, girls flag football is really becoming more and more popular across the state.
I think to go back to your point about young ladies who had not been involved in other sports finding their way into wrestling, opening up opportunities for them, I think that's the best part of this whole endeavor, and that is being able to expand the opportunities that boys and girls around our state have to be involved in interscholastic events and interscholastic sports that will in fact benefit them for the rest of their lives. I think that's the home run that you've hit.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Coach, and we agree with that. You couldn't have said it better myself.
All right, coming up this Sunday, speaking of tournament opportunities, girls basketball pairing show, 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock on the IHSAA Champions Network. Greg Rakestraw and I will be live from your offices. This is always one of the more fun nights. I have a lot of fun doing what I do, and I'm fortunate to be able to do that. But when it comes to pairing shows, those are different nights for all of us.
They are. It's kind of become an event. Certainly we have talent extraordinaire on the broadcast with you and Greg.
Greg's really good. No, you're right.
Yeah, but it's fun to, if people have Twitter or X now, follow along, and the number of schools that have watch parties where they gather at somebody's house in the basement or at a local restaurant to watch that draw come out. That's been historic in our tournament. I can remember years ago that you listened to the radio, and when the radio show was on, you knew it. And for me, it was the Princeton radio station down in southern Indiana, and you waited to see what the draw was going to be and when you were going to play and who you were going to play. And it was just part of the fun of the tournament.
The show starts at 5 o'clock, 5 until 7 on the IHSA Champions Network, the IHSA Girls State Finals Pairing Show. Greg Rakestraw and I live from the IHSAA. Commissioner Neidig, it's always great to talk to you. Thanks so much for your time, and I'll look forward to spending time with you on Sunday.
Thanks, Coach. We'll see you soon.
Thanks for listening to The Commissioner's Corner with IHSAA Commissioner Paul Neidig and Coach Bob Lovell. And thank you for your continued support of the high schools in your community.
Mayor Pete Land and the Crown Point Police Department are proud to support Crown Point Bulldog Athletics and say go Bulldogs. Crown Point remains dedicated to preserving history, celebrating everyday life, providing the best in city services, and encouraging smart growth. Visit Bulldog Park Friday, January 24th as Purdue Northwest faces off against Grand Valley State at 7 p.m. Admission is free. Enjoy cashless concessions and outdoor fire pits. And I'll tell you what, I wouldn't mind having a fire pit in this past week, and this sounds like he's going to have a fun time over at the city of Crown Point. Andrew Mile with Ben Kolazinski. We're at Chesterton High School for this DAC matchup between Crown Point and Chesterton. We just wrapped up the first half, and Chesterton, they lead by 11 points. And Ben, the first question I have to ask is, how did Chesterton build up this lead?
Defense. Candy Wilson throwing a high-pressure zone look. Sometimes it appears to be a 2-3 zone. Other times it's maybe a 1-3-1. But the bottom line is it's disrupting the Crown Point Bulldogs offense to a point where they've only scored 17 points in the game to this point, but they're already down by 11. It's a tall order. There's going to be a lot of things that need to change for the Crown Point Bulldogs.
A main story to also follow going into this second half is that Isabel Connors, the
heart and soul.
The heart and soul of this team, the straw that stirs the drink for Chesterton, picked up 3 fouls. She sat most of that first half. Kennedy Bradley, though, was a force on offense, knocked down a couple of threes and really looked a lot more confident this time than we saw her the last time against the Wolves.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how Isabel Connors, if she brings it down a notch with her intensity. But Chesterton really needs her on the defensive end. Going up against Ivy Henderson here on that front line, it's really going to cause some issues if she picks up that 4th or 5th foul, because, there was only a little bit of time where they overlapped in the first half, but other than that, Ivy Henderson was dominating in that first half.
Yeah, Ivy Henderson, she was doing everything for Crown Point. She's 6'3", she's pulling down rebounds, getting to the line, getting Chesterton players into foul trouble. But for me, and I want to see if you agree with this, if Crown Point wants to get back into this game, Ava Ritchie needs to step up, because she had a really hard time against the defense of Chesterton, and she was able to at least knock down the 3 to open up the second quarter, that's about as far as it goes for her.
Yeah, to the best of my knowledge, that's her only bucket of the game, right? And she leads this team in scoring. Now, I understand she is a freshman, and, this could be a situation where this intense defense is flustering her. She's just now, seeing the end of her first DAC season. There's still a lot of growth in this young woman that she needs to move forward, but right now we know she's a competitor. We know she has the ability. Down 11 points at halftime, now's the time for her to start to shine.
For Crown Point, what do they need to do to get back in it?
They need to take care of the ball on the offensive end. Stop turning the ball over and take care of business when you have the ball. If you can do that and get the ball into Ivy Henderson and have Ava Ritchie, heat up a little bit, they very well could be back in this game. 2 or 3 possessions in a row, right there. Basketball's a game of runs, and they can do it.
For me, too, noticing the ball movement, how fast it was moving. For Chesterton, a lot of their buckets were set up from assists, and the ball being swung around. Some people were getting those hockey assists, the second pass. Crown Point, on the other hand, they could get it down to Ivy Henderson, and if she's getting triple teamed, there's 2 available options open up on the perimeter, but it felt like sometimes the ball didn't move fast enough, which allowed Chesterton to recover.
Right.
And if Crown Point wants to respond like Chesterton was able to score in that first half, they got to move the ball faster and be more decisive with it.
Yeah, being decisive is difficult when you're a young team.
Yes.
You're still trying to understand the speed and flow of the, this high-level high school basketball game, and then make the right decision while you're still learning that speed and that flow. It's a difficult thing to do. I was never good enough or smart enough or confident enough to be a point guard, let alone against a pressure defense that is throwing everything they can at you. It's going to be very interesting to see if maybe Coach Seibert tells them, calm down a little bit, check your passes, make sure you're making the right reads, and make the perfect pass instead of the fast one.
Yeah, Coach Katie Wilson has had over 20 years to develop this 2-3 zone, and she has frustrated more players than Ava Ritchie en route to over 400 wins in her coaching career. But let's see if Coach Seibert can make the adjustments after they've gone head-to-head numerous times. And Seibert, in his 10th year, has not had a losing season. So if Crown Point can win this game, they can at least guarantee a 50-50 season.
And that, honestly, that's what you're looking for from a young team like this. He's done an excellent job coaching this team up. Some of his best players were in middle school within the last year and a half. That's incredible. And, a little bit of lightning in the bottle. We'll see what happens here in the second half.
Also, on top of that, their schedule was by no means easy. When you're in the DAC and you got to go up against LC and Maryville, because they've had a very experienced teams. LC made a deep run last year. Early block by Punick on Kennedy Bradley, who tried to shoot an 18-footer. Bradley at the wing, skipped it to the other wing. Van Klein over here. Crown Point still running that zone defense. Chesterton, of course, up by 11. They're in no hurry. They want to go for the good shot.
Yeah, Crown Point looks to be running a 1-3-1, it appears.
So changing it up a little bit from that 2-3 zone that we saw to the 1-2-2 that you just said.
It's either a 1-2-2 or a 1-3-1. I guess it depends on where the ball's at.
But again, Chesterton, they understand the way to break this any zone is to move the ball around as quickly as you can. Crown Point just trying to poke the ball away as Chesterton has milked up a whole minute, and they get a 2-point shot from Elizabeth St. Marie. So if St. Marie is out there, Connors is not.
Yeah, they don't want Connors to get her 4th foul, but that was a beautiful play by St. Marie, spinning and using the glass.
3 ball on its way, and it's an air ball. Now it's tossed up by Gabby Eberhardt, 29% from behind the arc this year. And
she's a good shooter from behind the arc. She's hit them all season. Maybe she knows that, hey, we're down 13 points right now. We have a good look, and maybe rushed it a bit right there.
She's been more of a playmaker lately for Crown Point than a scorer. She had 5 assists in the loss against Maryville and only 1 point. Brandon on the wing over by the Chesterton logo. Bradley cut. A high arcing shot. Tried to bank it in. No good. St. Marie, 4-point swing.
Elizabeth St. Marie coming in huge for the forward, Isabel Connors, in foul trouble.
Yeah, Giannis has an open shot from down low. And that's a great move. Coach Seibert's pumped up, and so is the bench.
Strong take with the left hand on the baseline, finish with the right.
Got to appreciate the head fake, create yourself some separation, see if the lane's wide open, take it yourself, and maybe that's all Crown Point needs is a play like that to get them kick-started here in the second half. They're down by 13, total reading 32-19 for Chesterton.
Chesterton is taking their sweet time. They are playing the clock game. If Crown Point isn't going to step out and take the pressure out of the point guards here, they could just wind clock. There is no shot clock in the state of Indiana.
Yeah, Chesterton's running that 4 corners offense. Meanwhile, Crown Point's playing like they're double parked out in the parking lot. Running all over the place. Bradley swings it back up top. They're just sitting on the basketball.
Yes, they are. And why wouldn't you? You're up by 13 points in the second half.
And another thing for me, Ben, the point that I always like to make is I think this state should implement a shot clock. Because everyone can keep away for a long time. I'm not saying this isn't a bad strategy. Coach Candy Wilson has over 400 wins. But at some point, it's not really much basketball. Ooh. Nice block. Punick rejects the shot.
Scooped up by Henderson. Beautiful, beautiful defensive effort.
Yeah, Giannis, 3-ball goes down.
She nailed the 3 from the left corner. They're cutting into this lead. It's down to 10 points.
Some great passing from Crown Point. St. Marie gets hit, and it goes down.
Elizabeth St. Marie showing up huge in this second half.
Playing in her last home game, a senior, and she has scored 6 points already in this third quarter.
Just right where she needs to be. She's got a nose for the ball and taking care of business when the ball gets to her. When opportunity knocks, you open that door.
St. Marie trying to make it a 7-point quarter, and that free throw was well off. Crown Point down by 12, but they've scored in their last 2 possessions. Haven't been able to say that too often tonight. Crown Point blatant catch over by the half-court line. Henderson
good pass
in the wing. Nice one more pass. Yeah, Giannis goes up. She gets hit. She's going to the charity stripe.
That was a really well-designed offensive set by the Crown Point Bulldogs coach, Chris Seibert. They made the extra, and then the extra pass. They got a beautiful look on the left side and drew the foul.
Well, that's what we talked about coming out of the halftime break, is that Crown Point, they were moving the ball around. No one was being really selfish, but they weren't moving it fast enough. And as they always say, the ball moves faster than a human.
Right, exactly.
First free throw does not go down for Giannis. From the line this year, it's a 57% mark for her. She goes 1 for 2. We've seen Chesterton have rough second halves. And I think that's why you're seeing Coach Candy Wilson implement a slowed down version of her offense. But Crown Point implemented a press here, Roach is open. Roach, nice pass. St. Marie.
St. Marie.
Elizabeth St. Marie put the team on her back. 8 points in this third quarter.
Huge in the second half.
3 ball on its way. The triple won't go down. Crown Point will get another look as Ritchie got an easy rebound. Here comes the attack. Yeah, Giannis, can she do it again? No. Another offensive
Strong
rebound.
board.
And it's stolen away. They're going to call it a jump ball, and the possession arrow says it belongs to the red and white.
Gabby Eberhardt brought the ball down. That's where the defender's arms are. Ended up being a jump ball. Tough break for Crown Point there on the offensive glass.
Crown Point will get the setup from down low. They're down by 13. And they turned the ball over nearly as much in this second half. Nice pass, and the shot goes up. That was an easy one for Sophie Hart. And a well-designed play for Crown Point. Over into the corner. Liv Roach dribbling it back out. And here we go. Chesterton going to slow it down. There's Novia Brandon's wide open. No one was guarding her. Crown Point's got to poke the ball away. Bradley gets the handoff after she goes around Novia Brandon. She's calling out for the play. Going to her right, between the legs. Gets a screen from St. Marie. Picks up her dribble. Sends it over to Liv Roach. This is the sort of tempo that Chesterton has been playing in this third quarter. Brandon attacking. Crown Point was getting their hand on it, as that was some good active hands by Sophie Hart. Band, as you see, currently on their lunch break. After an exciting first half, they're getting amped up for the fourth quarter.
They have earned their snack.
Hot dog, nachos, maybe a hamburger.
Orange slices. It doesn't matter.
Orange
They've earned
slices,
it, yes.
yeah. Novia Brandon. Kennedy Bradley. The time of possession definitely belongs to Chesterton in this third quarter. The TOP.
Slowing this game down.
They're just playing keep away. It's like monkey in the middle out here.
Coach Cyber is imploring his defense to step up and create a 5-second situation.
And Ritchie put her hand on the ball, and Crown Point thought that maybe they had a steal. Bradley with a shot up and a foul. And that's what Coach Candy Wilson's looking for. Take your time, wait for something to open, then attack. And Kennedy Bradley saw that the lane was open. Here came the help defense. She gets hit, and it's exactly the look that they were looking for.
Kennedy did a great job with releasing from her right foot and moving to her left to get a good shot at the hoop, and got the harm, but very well had an opportunity to get an and one.
Here comes Elizabeth St. Marie out of the game as she's being greeted by her teammates. That means Isabel Connors is back out there with her 3 fouls. Bradley, 1 for 2 at the line. 12-point lead for the home team, Chesterton, here tonight. Here comes the attack. And a steal by Liv Roach. She has been active on the defensive end all night for Chesterton. But the bad part of that being a turnover for Crown Point is here comes the very slow, snail-like Chesterton offense.
I mean, might as well milk this clock. Still well over double digits, and then it's a tough break for Crown Point. They're going to have to really pick up the intensity on the defensive end.
Well, they're going to catch a break as it goes right through the hands of the newly checked in Isabel Connors, and it's not been her night tonight, picking up 3 quick fouls, that turnover. But for Chesterton, they need her to wake up.
Yeah, she's definitely in a tough spot playing the center of that 1-3-1 zone. And
deep 3, Ritchie. Oh my goodness, what a shot by Ava Ritchie.
Wow.
Stepped into that one. Steph Curry range, drains it, and Crown Point makes it a 9-point game. Been a long time since they've been within single digits of these Chesterton Trojans.
My goodness, we knew she had it in her, and she showed that she is a dynamic scorer with that long 3.
She hit 2 threes against Maryville, scored 14 points in the loss, and that's already her second 3 of the night. But it was a nice screen, got her set up. She went to her left, and the footwork there was spot on for someone as young as her.
Yeah, she squared herself up. She had a nice release and just drilled the shot. She's obviously been putting in a lot of work outside of the games, probably shooting hundreds of shots a game because she did that. She could have done that with her eyes closed.
She's already scored over 300 points in her young career.
Wow.
And she's adding more to her already young legacy here tonight to see if Crown Point can pull off an incredible comeback against Chesterton while on the road. Nice attack there from Sydney Hale. Couldn't come up with it. Pass down low. Connors. And Connors with another turnover. She lost the ball last time getting a free pass. And that time she took too many steps before she went with the right-hand crossover.
Yeah, it looked like something happened there with her plant foot as she made her jab to work her way left. She seems pretty frustrated right now. Has not been her most impressive game. I mean, she's been our blue-collar player of the game here multiple times. She's a tough competitor, but she's got to relax and take care of business because we know she can be a productive player.
Chesterton learned their lesson as Ava Ritchie straight away three. No good.
Another good look for Ritchie there, just didn't quite hit it.
And Ivy Henderson's not out there. Connors gets a pass from Bradley as Bradley was pushing it down the floor, but Connors feeds it right back. Interesting to see why Henderson's not out there. There's a good chance she might have been able to pull down an offensive rebound right there, or at least create havoc. Bradley toss up with a wild left-hand shot. Connors battling for the rebound. Crown Point gets it. Double team. And they're going to call a foul. And is it on Connors again? No, it's on number 12, Kennedy Bradley. You saw Isabel Connors' reaction. She looked at the bench, and we saw her, and we're thinking she might have just got called for her fourth foul.
Yeah, we heard a bit of a groan from the Chesterton faithful here. They were like, uh-oh, who was that on? And kind of a tense couple moments there before we figured out it was on Bradley.
But that is the third on Bradley.
So she's only going to have two for the remainder of this game.
The look that Connors gave Coach Candy Wilson is the look I would give my mom when I got in trouble. Like, I probably shouldn't be doing this. Mid-range jumper off from the side, and we've seen Ivy Henderson come back into the game for Crown Point. Under 30 seconds to go in this third quarter. Crown Point has cut their way back in it. They're still down by 9, 37-28. Crown Point being very aggressive here on defense. Van Clyde being guarded tightly by Jillian Brown. Henderson out here with Liv Roach. Vita Van Clyde, corner, three up, three air ball, shot at the buzzer, it goes down. They're gonna count it. Coach Seibert beside himself. Chesterton ever so pumped up as they close out the third quarter with a double-digit lead. We got one more to go in regulation. Trojans 39, Crown Point 28 here on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
First home, dream home, forever home. Tech Credit Union has the right home loan for you. Their loan officers could help you purchase a home, refinance your current mortgage, or unlock your home's equity to get cash out for any purpose. Let Tech Credit Union show you why they're the better option for a home loan. Learn more at www.techcu.org or call 800-276-8324. Tech Credit Union is an equal housing lender and federally insured by the NCUA.
Don't forget to visit regionsports.com, Facebook/Region Sports Nation, and Instagram for this week's Powering Indiana Peak Performers presented by NECA, IBEW, Powering Indiana of Lake County. Powering Indiana, the region's most trusted electricians. Andrew Miles, Ben Kolazinski on this chilly Thursday night. Happy that you are joining us here on the Region Sports Network. Crown Point down by 11, open up this fourth quarter, and they know with Chesterton's offense, they're going to get slim looks. And here comes Connors down the floor, goes past a defender, shot floated high in the air, can't go down, offensive rebound, good footwork there by Haley Geiser, and it's a large lead for Chesterton.
Yeah, the lead has ballooned back up to 13 points, and right now it seems Chesterton's off and rolling.
And with that steal from Isabel Connors, there's some of the best hands in the business, just like the Bricklayers Local 4, Indiana, Kentucky.
Check out baclocal4.org to find out how you can join the oldest continuous union in North America.
Crown Point getting pressured tightly by Chesterton's defense. Feed it down low to Henderson. Why not? She's been reliable all night long as she's going to go to the line, and a foul called on Connors as she puts her hands on her head like Surrender Cobra. She can't believe she got called for her fourth foul.
Well, it was a foul. Unfortunately, Ivy Henderson is that much of a force underneath it. There's only so much you can do. You kind of have to foul her at that point.
Mayor Pete Land and the Crown Point Police Department are proud to support Crown Point Bulldog Athletics and say, go Bulldogs. Crown Point remains dedicated to preserving history, celebrating everyday life, providing the best in city services, and encouraging smart growth. Visit Bulldog Park Friday, January 24th as Purdue Northwest faces off against Grand Valley State at 7 p.m. Admission is free. Enjoy cashless concessions and outdoor fire pits. Henderson went 2 for 2 at the line. Chesterton with this slow offense, but Crown Point's going to have to be aggressive. They want to get this ball away and get more looks. Bradley gets a quick pass. Crown Point almost got their hand on it. Kennedy Bradley is out on the floor on the other side. Connors has 4 fouls. She attacks. Long pass. Bradley attacking. Henderson with the contest. Shot no good. Connors gets her hands on it. Tips it back. And it pays off for Haley Geiser. The tip drill for the Chesterton Trojans.
Haley Geiser now stepping up for the Chesterton Trojans.
There's Elizabeth St. Marie in the third quarter. Now it's Geiser. Ball tipped into the air. Richie going with the left hand. Long pass completed. Attack. Shot up. Shot no good, but that's going to send Ava Punak to the line.
Strong take by Punak there.
Well, that's the 5th on Isabel Connors, so she is done.
Frustrating night for Isabel, but you know what? If this game continues, she'll be happy with the victory.
Isabel Connors, pretty emotional heading back to the bench. But luckily for her team, they have seen 2 players step up, and one of them is back out on the floor, and Elizabeth St. Marie. First free throw is no good for Punic.
So for Isabel Connors, this is her last appearance at home.
That's
here. She is a senior, so she's feeling it a little bit. Kind of, your heart goes out to her, but
that one goes in and out. Tough break for Ava Punak, who goes empty at the line. And those are some big points for Crown Point when they're down by 13. And Coach Candy Wilson is in no hurry to score any more points. Chesterton trying to win on breast cancer awareness fundraiser nights. Saw some pink around and even some players wearing some pink shoes on this special occasion. Even got the pink party streamers up on the bleachers.
It's a great cause, this Coaches versus Cancer. I think everybody around and listening to us and viewing our broadcast has been affected by cancer in some way, and hopefully we can find a cure.
Elizabeth St. Marie is having herself a phenomenal final home game.
The lead has ballooned up to 15 with 5:33 left.
And Elizabeth St. Marie's getting it done on the defensive end. Jump ball going up against Ivy Henderson.
Man, this defensive intensity for the Chesterton Trojans is something to behold right now. They really have this high-powered Crown Point offense flustered.
Henderson was talking to Seibert, and I know I'm not a lip-reading expert, Ben, but it sounds like and it looked like she was saying, I couldn't get her off of me. And she'd even look at her arm as she went back to the bench. Man. Great defense here from Jillian Brown, but Bradley gets a handoff, and Coach Wilson's going to take a timeout before a violation was called on Chesterton.
Narrowly avoided the 10-second violation. Heads-up move by Coach Candy Wilson.
As we take a quick break, I'm going to read About the City of Crown Point, Mayor Pete Land and the Crown Point Police Department are proud to support Crown Point Bulldog Athletics and say go Bulldogs. Crown Point remains dedicated to preserving history, celebrating everyday life, providing the best in city services, and encouraging smart growth. Visit Bulldog Park Friday, January 24th as Purdue Northwest faces off against Grand Valley State at 7 p.m. Admission is free. Enjoy cashless concessions and outdoor fire pits. Ben, do you own an outdoor fire pit?
I do. And it has seen many a marshmallow, hot dog, and cold adult beverage, that's for sure.
I cannot wait for summer to come around. That sounds exactly how summer should be. So I'm assuming s'mores then?
Sure, yeah.
What do you put on your s'mores? Are you a Hershey guy or do you put on the Reese's cups?
Ooh, you know what? My wife likes the Hershey's, so happy wife, happy life. We just
5-second call on Chesterton. Crown Point is going to get the ball back, and not a second ran off of the clock.
That's exactly what Crown Point needs, is to take that ball back without any time winding off.
We'll see if Crown Point can cut back into this. They're down by 15, their largest deficit of the night. Brown got the ball after he got loose for a moment. Ritchie, top of the key, going to her left, spinning, getting double teamed. Has to get it to Brown. Brown somehow was able to bring that in before it went out of bounds, and that time it does go out of bounds off of the hands of Allison Van Clyde.
Candy Wilson's Trojans are bringing that defense closer and closer to half court, making it more difficult and for Crown Point to get into their offensive set, taking a longer time.
Henderson, power dribble, shot blocked. Henderson gets the rebound, back out, got Giannis, three, no, rolls out. Kennedy Bradley there to get the rebound. Bad pass, great catch by Haley Geiser, out on Chesterton. 4:49 to go. As more time runs away, we're seeing that Crown Point is getting lesser opportunities to cut into this large lead by the home team.
You can hear Chris Cybers saying, push, push, move quicker. The time is against the Bulldogs right now.
They can't hit the three. It's off a couple of hands. Crown Point gets it back. Ritchie going with the left hand. She gets baseline, and a blocking foul is going to be called on Chesterton. It's on Van Clyde. That's the third foul on Chesterton. So one more to give, and the second on St. Marie.
Liv Roach. I guess not. I take that.
Initially, it looked like he held up the number 2, so it should have been on Van Clyde. Elizabeth St. Marie is number 21. Going through traffic is Ritchie. She gets hit on the arm. The shot won't go down, but Ritchie will get the setup at the line, as that is the last foul to give for Chesterton. So Crown Point's in the bonus for the rest of this game.
So Crown Point's going to have an opportunity to score with the clock not running. But an interesting dynamic is Crown Point has 0 fouls for the quarter, which if you have to get into a foul situation at the end of the game is a disadvantage.
Well, for Coach Candy Wilson, she's saying to her team, play smart. And for Chesterton, they have struggled immensely in the fourth quarter this year. They're only averaging 8.1 points in the fourth quarter. That's not going to get the job done against some of these high-octane offenses. Ritchie can't hit the second free throw. Ritchie gets the offensive rebound after it's tipped away by Sydney Hale. And jump ball call that belongs to Crown Point.
Crown Point is just faster to the ball right now. They're faster, they're more aggressive. They want to come back and they want to win this game, even though they're still down by 14 late.
We got to wonder if it's because Coach Seimert goes deeper into his bench than Coach Candy Wilson does. We've seen 11, 12 Bulldogs take the floor, while for Chesterton, it's only around 7 or 8, 9 players.
So you're saying fresh legs for the Bulldogs?
Fresh legs. You get those line changes, essentially, like in hockey.
Right.
There's a foul called down low. That's 5 fouls on Chesterton. And that's going to send Crown Point back to the line. And they need to hit these free throws if they want to get back in this game. They have a really good opportunity to not only get free points, Ben, but also stop the clock.
Anytime you can score without that clock running, that's exactly what you want when you're trying to stage a big comeback.
This is Aaliyah Mencheka at the line. This year we're shooting 61% from that charity stripe. Missed the second one. Ritchie had her hand on the ball, but she overran the loose rebound, and Chesterton gets a sigh of relief as they finally get to move to this side. And almost an intentional foul there by Jillian Brown. First foul on Crown Point in this fourth quarter. And I would consider that a good foul to slow down Chesterton's offense and force them to inbound it from the side here.
Yeah, it's definitely a circumstance where you don't want easy buckets, but also you want to be aggressive because you don't want Chesterton just to hold the ball on their hip and bleed down the remaining minutes of this game.
Chesterton trying to get their first home win since December 6th against Michigan City. Been almost 2 months for the Chesterton Trojans to send their home fans happy. Out of bounds.
Good defense by Crown Point.
Crown Point suffocating Chesterton right now. And again, we'll mention it. Chesterton has allowed Crown Point to get to the free throw line a few times due to a lot of fouls. Crown Point is in the double bonus. So they don't have to score. They at least just got to get a foul. Henderson's back in the game. Brown going to her right. Pass. Nice pass. Floater no good as it went off of the window. And then Chesterton had two players going for the ball and goes out of bounds on St. Marie.
Yeah, Chesterton's Crown Point's going to have the opportunity to inbounds underneath. Oh.
Tie pass, steal going down the floor. Ritchie's there. Pass to Bradley. Bradley says thank you very much. She gets 2 points off a great pass from Allison Van Cly.
Leaves the ball behind with a great finish with the right hand.
Brown from downtown. No. Offensive rebound. Bradley gets her hand on it. And it's going to be a jump ball. And that will belong to Chesterton.
You know, you wouldn't think by the aggression here on both sides of the ball that it's a 15-point game, but, you know, both of these teams are still bringing it late in the fourth quarter.
Certainly has not felt like a 15-point game in this fourth quarter. Coach Seibert really motivates his players even to the final buzzer, and Crown Point almost like another intentional foul as Gayanis with her mask on. You still see through it. She's frustrated with that call.
Yeah, definitely frustrated, but, you know, at what point, if you're Chris Seibert, do you want to try to extend this game? We've seen that Chesterton throughout the season has had some troubles hitting free throws, that maybe fouling is the right way to go.
Jump ball, Crown Point ball. Ben, let me ask you, when you think of mask and basketball player, is there a certain player that comes to mind? Because I have one.
Oh, my goodness. Well, it'd have to be back in my day, the Bill Lambiers of the world, yes. But who would you got?
Rip Hamilton.
Yep, Rip Hamilton, absolutely. He wore it even when he didn't need to wear it.
Right. Really became his signature look, like Horace Grant's white goggles.
Right.
Ritchie got the ball knocked away. Brown straight away. Triple off to the left. Ritchie clears the rebound, and that shot goes up and over the iron, and a foul is going to be called. That is the third on Crown Point, so one more to give for the Bulldogs. Under 3 minutes to go, and Chesterton can see the light at the end of the tunnel, trying to get their first home win in over a month and finish 4-3 in DAC play. And again, a very competitive conference. The football pass down the floor, and Bradley gets it after a couple of bounces.
It was a brilliant inbounds play with a strong press by Crown Point.
Almost like a Josh Allen pass.
Right. Future NFL MVP, Josh Allen.
Yes.
In my opinion.
Chiefs and the Bills on Sunday for the AFC Championship. Eagles Commanders for the NFC Championship. Bradley with the right hand. Region Sports Network will have East Chicago Central versus 21st Century Charter tomorrow, and then back here on Chesterton on Saturday for boys basketball between the Trojans and the Hobart Rookies. Timeout. We will take a quick break as you're watching the Region Sports Network, the only game in town. back here, and you can hear the noise, you can hear the fans. The Chesterton Trojans are 2 minutes and 34 seconds away from defeating the Crown Point Bulldogs. Andrew Mild with Ben Kolazinski. As you are getting ready for your weekend here on this Thursday night. Tomorrow's Friday. TGIF, Ben.
Everybody loves Fridays, but right now I'm loving this Thursday.
Another foul, and that's the last one for Crown Point, as it's going to send Chesterton to the line. And we've seen a lot of intentional fouls by Coach Seibert in Crown Point because they really have no choice.
Right. They're going to have to rely on Chesterton hitting free throws, and sometimes that's been a little rough go for the Trojans.
They certainly have rode the struggle bus when it comes to shooting free throws this year. 54% collectively as a team. That's a bad miss from Van Cly. For her, 41%.
Yeah, so this is a time where if you can get hot from the free throw line, you can really salt this game away. But right now it's about the only avenue that Crown Point has is the hope that Chesterton misses from the free throw line.
They've been doing better at the free throw line lately, but certainly still has been a weak part of their game. As Chesterton has no one down low, and Crown Point will get that free rebound. They got to push it down the floor and just start chucking up threes with them being down 15 and under 2.5 minutes to go. Giannis, Punick, Brown, three, no, left short.
Good look.
Ritchie with a hustle rebound and a kick ball violation. 2:10 to go.
Yeah, 2:10 to go. You're at foul and shoot threes mode, I guess. Foul, shoot threes, try to get a steal on the press. That's about all you can do if you're the Bulldogs.
The final 2 minutes sometimes feels like half an hour in basketball. Punick gets the inbound pass, tries to feed down to Henderson. Good steal as Haley Geiser was there to knock the ball away. As for Ivy Henderson, she was everywhere in that first half, but been awfully quiet as she goes into the stands, stealing the ball. Brown rejected. Ooh. Ritchie to Punick, and Punick hits it off the glass, and it goes down. Seibert immediately taking a timeout with his team down by 13. He does not think this game is over yet, Ben.
Hey, you got to, just like you want your players to play to the end, you got to coach to the end. I really admire what Chris Seibert is doing right
We'll
now.
take a 30-second timeout. You're watching the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Light turns on. Press the button, machines and instruments come to life. Touch the screen, communicate with the world. Simple tasks, guaranteed results, every second of every day. That's the power of power. And that's the power brought to you by the NECA contractors and electrical workers of Local 531.
At the conclusion of tonight's game, we'll name the Crowell Companies Lantern Man superhero of the game. Crowell Companies, the business professionals. We'll name the Boilermakers Local 374 Blue Collar Player of the Game, brought to you by Boilermakers Local 374. Earn while you learn with Boilermakers Local 374. And the Proud Union Home Play of the Game, presented by the Region Sports Network. Andrew Mild joined with Ben Kolazinski for the final home game for Chesterton girls basketball. Crown Point trying to intentionally foul Kennedy Bradley. Bounce pass. It's on the ground. And Liv Roach is being called for a double dribble.
I was shielded by a couple of bodies there, so I didn't quite see what happened. It must have been a situation where she picked it up and tried to go at it again.
Well, I've been watching Coach Seibert send in Sydney Hale, send her back out, sending in substitutions after every dead ball. So, again, he likes to go into his bench.
He's getting those fresh legs out there and maybe try to take advantage of some fatigue on the Chesterton Trojan side.
Ava Ritchie pushing it down the floor, tried to get it to Brown, and she wasn't there. Turnover on CP and a very deflating one. Here comes that line change again.
You have a hockey line change. He's bringing in three, taking out three. Just trying to go offense for defense substitutions.
At this point, you're better off giving them some hockey sticks and some shoulder pads and sending them out there. Ball has been inbounded by Chesterton, and Ritchie reaching in for the intentional foul, and that will send Reese Dilbeck to the line.
And we're back to the free throw line with 1:34 to go, a 13-point lead. You know, at some point, I think Chesterton is going to call off the Dogs. All they're trying to do is get the ball into the front court. But Chris Cybers, he's coaching to the end. I got to admire that intensity.
Missed free throw there from Dilbeck. You're going to remember, too, with this season winding down, both teams won't be in action for a week. So maybe at this point he's just trying to keep his players out there and keep it intense because he knows they're not going to see game-like action for 7 days.
Right, and as the season winds down, you need to be as sharp as you can
exactly.
because you're getting into the IHSAA tournament.
Well, you mentioned that before the game even started, it could take one team to get hot at the right time to be able to go on a deep run, and maybe one of these two teams can figure out something right here that they can take into their last game of the year and into their first round of sectionals, which they'll be finding out who it is on Sunday.
Right, you know, there's obviously a ton of talent here on both of these teams. We've seen the shots just get drained from NBA range, it seems like. So, you know, all it takes is for the things to click at the right time, and, you know, there could be some damage. Maybe you see one of these teams in the regionals or semi-state.
Jillian Brown is at the line as she took a tumble. First free throw was good for her, and once again, Coach Seibert, he's wearing down the path to the scorer's table from the Crown Point bench at this point. The paint's starting to wear thin.
It is off-traveled, that is for sure.
Yes. Everyone's getting their steps in if you're wearing a red jersey. Ritchie intercepts the pass, and she gets hit. They're going to call it out off Kennedy Bradley. And I think Ava Ritchie believes that a foul should have been called.
Yeah, she a little indignant after that play. The good news is Crown Point will retain the possession for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, she took one right to the chest going for that ball that she poked away. And that's going to drive Coach Candy Wilson crazy with some of the loose passes we've seen from Chesterton in this fourth quarter. Ritchie splits the defenders, tries to get it to Henderson. Henderson had to go off of her hand. Sending her around. Ritchie's down low. Ritchie with the right hand, and it's going to wiggle its way down. And Crown Point still down by 11 with 63 seconds up on the board. It's a full timeout for Crown Point. And we'll see you on the other side of this break. This is the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Four Seasons Mechanical proudly serves Northwest Indiana, providing quality, reasonably priced, reliable service. With a quality and comfort guarantee, the professionals at Four Seasons Mechanical offer a wide range of services in heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Whether it's residential or commercial, Four Seasons Mechanical is there 24/7. To find out more, the website is fourseasonsmechanical.com or give them a call at 219-756-7020. Four Seasons Mechanical, your indoor air quality specialist.
Earn while you learn from the best hands in the business. The Bricklayers Allied Craftworkers for Indiana Kentucky Apprenticeship. That's right, this is a paid apprenticeship.
I'm getting an education while learning a trade and getting paid for it.
The thing that surprised me the most about this apprenticeship program is the respect I have received after the proper time and training.
Classes start soon, so apply now. There are training centers throughout Indiana and Kentucky. We are the Bricklayers and Allied Craftworkers for Indiana Kentucky Apprenticeship, the best hands in the business.
Andrew Mild, Ben Kolazinski, and it looks like Chesterton's going to run 4 wide. The Bradley passed it over to Dilbeck. Dilbeck passed it back as Bradley came in from out of bounds.
That was a really brilliant inbounds play. I have never seen that one before.
Is that an old-fashioned give and go?
It essentially was.
Sending it around, Crown Point trying to steal it, and an intentional foul. And Liv Roach not happy. No. It's getting a little chippy out here as it looks like it's on Seibert.
Yeah, a bit of tempers flaring here with 46.9 seconds to go.
And Seibert, she's smiling. I think she meant by no means to hurt Liv Roach trying to get the basketball, but Liv Roach, of course, did not appreciate being hit.
Yeah, I don't think anyone enjoys being fouled, but, you know, it's definitely a circumstance where, you know, frustrations happen. We'll just put it that way.
Some players might enjoy getting fouled because they know if they get to the line, their shot can be readjusted. Players don't like to get fouled hard.
There you go. That's fair.
We talked about Bill Lambier, talking about someone that took out everyone on the opposing team with those bad boy Pistons.
Yes. Back in my day.
That wasn't too long ago, right?
Pretty long. I got kids in college, so yeah.
A foul called, and once again, still getting chippy. No, they're not going to call a foul. They're going to call a timeout. So this referee on this side put a fist up, but this referee said that the timeout was before the foul. So it's a
full timeout?
Full timeout with 36.2 seconds left. We will stay right here as Crown Point, they're down by 12 with not a lot of time to work with. And talking about Crown Point, Mayor Pete Land and the Crown Point Pace Department are proud to support Crown Point Bulldog Athletics and say go Bulldogs. Crown Point remains dedicated to preserving history, celebrating everyday life, providing the best in city services, and encouraging smart growth. Visit Bulldog Park tomorrow, January 24th, as Purdue Northwest faces off against Grand Valley State at 7 p.m. Admission is free. Enjoy cashless concessions and outdoor fire pits. So I am to assume that's a hockey game going on in downtown Crown Point. It doesn't say it.
I would imagine.
But Bulldog Park has the ice rink going on
right
now. So do you enjoy hockey? You want to sit outside almost like Winter Classic style? Go down to Bulldog Park tomorrow at 7 p.m. and have yourself a good time.
Oh, that sounds a lot of fun. Can't beat collegiate hockey? Can't be, a nice night?
I will be at East Chicago tomorrow as they take on 21st Century Charter, so I cannot attend, but I'm hoping to hear good things. Bradley finally gets the inbound pass, ball on the ground. Sidney Hale is at the bottom of that pile jump ball. Chesterton ball. 32.2 seconds left.
Really got to admire the tenacity of the Crown Point Bulldogs. They are bitter ending this. They are taking this down to the very end, and I really got to give them credit.
They get it to Delbeck. Delbeck went to the line earlier, and Crown Point going for the steal, not the foul. Body's hitting the ground, and they're going to call a travel on Delbeck, who fell onto her back. Crown Point will get it from down low with 24 seconds to go.
12 points, 24 seconds. At some point, it's going to be academic, but I really admire the hustle and heart that this Crown Point team is bringing here when it's pretty much a foregone conclusion at this point.
I'll say one thing, Crown Point with the timeouts and the fouls and how many times they've gotten to the line, the fans have really gotten their money's worth on the Region Sports Network. Bad pass, stolen by Liv Roche. Here comes Kennedy Bradley against Ritchie. Ritchie knocks it away.
Great job by Ritchie to knock that away. Bradley, might have been in her best interest to pull that ball out to kind of eat some more clock. But, hey, when you're on a fast break with a hoop right in front of you, yeah, you want to score.
Hey, she's chasing down 1,000 career points. She needs any bucket she can get.
That's fair.
Trying to get to 900 points. She got some ways to go there. And it looks like Crown Point is finally going to let this clock run out. Great effort by CP here tonight. But for the Chesterton Trojans, you can hear it in the fans as they applaud and they cheer. The Maroon and Gold have won at home for the first time since December 6th against Michigan City as they win a battle here tonight against the Crown Point Bulldogs, 49-37.
Wonderful game. And 12 points does not tell the story of this. This was a hotly contested game. It just happened to be a slow start for Crown Point and kind of played even from then on out. Really impressive performance by many players, both teams and both coaches. I always love coming to Chesterton. It's a beautiful place. I couldn't be more happy with how everything went down today.
Chesterton finishes up with a 4-5 record. Here at home, it snaps that 3-game home losing streak tonight. And we will step aside, come back with the post-game show. We have some awards to hand out, some thank yous to give, and then we'll send you on your way. As there's plenty of basketball to be played on the Region Sports Network this weekend. So for right now, we're going to step aside as you're watching the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Blythe's Team Sports in Valparaiso is a leader in athletics apparel and equipment sales. With in-house production including screen printing, trophies, embroidery, and more, Blythe's can help you to create the perfect look. For more information, visit them online at teamblythes.com. Blythe's Team Sports in Valparaiso, where the athletes shop.
Some see a wrestling match. We see a 6-minute lesson in grit. Some see a coach sending a runner home. we see a mentor guiding a student athlete into the future. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
The band's still a rockin', the cheerleaders are clapping as they wrap up their girls basketball season here at Chesterton. They'll have one more game against Andrean, and then it's sectionals time for the Trojans. Angel Mild with Ben Kolazinski. We have some awards to hand out because it wouldn't be a Region Sports Network broadcast unless we did so. Starting off with the classic Crown Companies Lantern Man Superhero of the Game. Crown Companies, the business professionals. And Ben, who'd we give it to tonight?
Oh, Kennedy Bradley. She had an excellent game on the offensive side, the defensive side, leading this team to victory in the final home game of the season. She shot the ball, she distributed the ball, she defended everything you could ask for from a superhero.
Next up is the Boilermakers Local 374 Blue Collar Player of the Game, brought to you by Boilermakers Local 374. Learn about apprenticeship programs and more at local374.org. Ben, this was a pretty easy choice for us.
Elizabeth St. Marie in the third quarter. She took over this ball game. She was everywhere that she needed to be. She was getting rebounds. She was finishing buckets. She was doing the little things that Chesterton needed to get this victory tonight.
With Isabel Connors getting the foul trouble early, Elizabeth St. Marie ran away with it in her final home game as she is a senior, had herself a night to remember. And I think it's safe to say when Chesterton goes up against Andrean next week on the 31st, Elizabeth St. Marie is going to get some more minutes coming off of the bench. And, of course, one more award to give out. It's time to name the Proud Union Home Play of the Game, presented by the Region Sports Network. The Proud Union Home Play of the Game for tonight's game is the Ava Ritchie Deep Three.
That was from NBA range. It was from the left wing and just drained it. It was incredible. It's just a beautiful shot by that freshman guard for Crown Point.
Yeah, she could have shot that one from the woods out beyond the locker rooms here at Chesterton. It still would have went in. So Ava Ritchie had an impressive night herself as she's concluding up her freshman year at Crown Point. Ben, just a couple of final thoughts before we give out some thank yous and wrap it up here tonight. We'll start off with the losing team, Crown Point. Even though that their offense really wasn't in rhythm tonight, I will give Coach Seibert some credit. A lot of coaches will just pack it up and say, you know what, it's not our night, let's just get out of here. He stayed in it for those last 2 minutes, even though they were down 15.
He's a coach and he's a teacher. He's doing everything in his power to make sure that these young women know that they are here to compete and work hard, because he coached his rear end off for them and they played their rear end off for him. It's a really good sign for him going forward for this program.
And then the second thing I have to ask is, how much fun was it to watch Ivy Henderson tonight dominate down low?
My goodness, she's a tremendous talent, isn't she? She's tall, she's strong, she can jump, and she's coordinated. Really impressive young woman, and she's going to go places. She's going to be a high-level recruit here for colleges.
Crown Point drops to 11-11, and they'll finish below 500 in conference play this year. Over to the Chesterton side, we saw Elizabeth St. Marie step up. We saw Haley Geiser step up. And then really Chesterton's bench led them to tonight's win. Of course, also with Kennedy Bradley having herself a night to remember offensively.
A really, really nice balance from the Chesterton offense, but also the intense on defense. Yes. Every time that Coach Candy Wilson substituted, that defensive intensity did not change, whether it be a starter or a bench player. Really impressive performance from that end.
I know for me, I had written that the 2-3 zone did wonders for Chesterton in their game against Hammond Central. Even though they lost that game, you knew that Candy Wilson's trying to find a formula going into sectional play as she led her team to a 2-2 record against the opposing teams in that sectional. But if they can play the good defense, get out to a lead in the first half like they've done in the last two games, and milk the clock like they did in the second half, teams better watch out for the Chesterton Trojans. They might pull off some upsets in sectionals.
And we will find out here soon. We're just a week or so away from knowing what the lineups are. And, the most exciting time in Indiana, the IHSAA state tournament.
So they might get Hobart, they might get Maryville, Portage, or Valpo. And we saw some Valpo players here tonight. It's that time of year where rivalries are starting to heat up a little bit. Right. And we're going to have ourselves a fun time covering the girls basketball sectionals here in the region. Some thank yous to give out. Of course, our executive producer, Chris Ramirez, operations manager, Rich Castillo, coordinating producer, Zach Miller with 2 eyes, and sports director himself, Mike Dewan. Big thank you to our producer, Zach Zanelli, who did a great job as it ran a little bit longer tonight. And on camera, Clint Klaus, back in the house and doing a phenomenal job staying up with the action tonight. The coaches for Crown Point, Chris Seibert and Chesterton, Candy Wilson. 80s for Crown Point, Bill Derula. Chesterton, Jeff Hamstra. Thank you for letting us come out and cover Chesterton basketball. And of course, the viewers on Facebook /Region Sports Nation, YouTube /Region Sports Network, and IHSAA TV. For my partner, Ben Kolazinski, I've been Andrew Mile. Thank you for watching the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.